Just a reminder from your friendly neighborhood metalhead, if you like what you see, don't forget to click like and subscribe to the Heavy Underground. 20 years ago, one of the most talked about matches in the history of professional wrestling took place at WWF's 1998 King of the Ring pay-per-view. An instant sensation, the third ever Hell in a Cell match between the WWF's reigning deadman, The Undertaker, and the twisted, demented physicality of the unhinged Mankind, set a standard for brutality, as well as an amazing in-match narrative. In celebration of 2 decades of hauntingly memorable renown, one half of this remarkable confrontation, the hardcore legend himself, Mick Foley, journeyed forth on a 20-city tour to celebrate this iconic Hell in a Cell moment. Culminating at Mr. Small's Theater on the outskirts of Pittsburgh in Millvale, Pennsylvania, on June 28, 2018, the hardcore legend celebrated the anniversary of this career-defining event by recounting the long and fateful road that culminated in a personal victory over both the status quo and the wavering faith within the WWE's hierarchy. Introduced by longtime TNA Impact Wrestling mouthpiece and recent WWE hire Jeremy Borash, Mick Foley's celebration of 1998's Hell in a Cell match finds him revisiting the city of Pittsburgh to commemorate and celebrate the match that launched Mrs. Foley's baby boy into rarefied air. Beginning with an extensive recounting of the match itself, including the near-decade confluence of events that transpired for it to take place, a wide-ranging question-and-answer session would follow, allowing the crowd to broaden the conversation on a wide array of topics. 20 years to the day since Mankind and The Undertaker made history in the now-demolished Civic Arena, Mick Foley and the WWE appear to have combined forces to bring an extra special treat to the Pittsburgh crowd. As an added bonus, Jeremy Borash reveals that the show is being filmed, with the intention for it to be broadcast at a later date on the WWE Network. Having covered the pre-show announcements, including a warning that anyone caught recording the show will be slammed onto thumbtacks, Nita Strauss, the guitar wizard currently casting 6-string spells with Alice Cooper, strode out and proceeded to throw out a few licks, including a callback to her electrifying appearance at WrestleMania 34 earlier this year, before playing Mick Foley onto the stage. Making his way to the microphone as Nita rocks out to his longtime WWE theme music, Wreck, Mick Foley steps forth to a rapturous response from the Pittsburgh crowd. Accepting a guitar pick from Nita, Foley begins the show with a raucous pop for his fanny pack fashion sense before settling into story time with St. Mick. Throughout the night, a number of very special guests were given thanks and recognition. Included in these acknowledgments were Nita Strauss, as well as a local dentist who played an important role in the aftermath of Hell in a Cell. Additionally, Dominic DeNucci, the man that pitied a young hardcore legend enough to show him the ropes in the wrestling world, was proudly seated in the second row for the night's unique celebration. Beginning with his formative years, Mick illumines the path that led him from itinerant jobber to breakout WCW star and eventually to his unlikely WWE hiring. Showing an overabundance of initiative, Mick made a respected name for himself in the WCW as a tireless worker who sought the best performance for his opponent and himself. With the trust and respect of such WCW luminaries as Diamond Dallas Page, Sting, and the American Dream, Dusty Rhodes, in his corner, the reluctance of the WWF to hire him seemed conspicuous. Even with solid backing from Jim Ross, it was a hard sell to convince Vinnie Mac, and when they did eventually hire him, in true heel fashion, Vince's motivation was far from pure. Agreeing to hire Mick, sure of his inevitable failure, and with the purpose of teaching good old JR a lesson, the newly minted Mankind was given little concern in the beginning by the powers that be. However, his own drive, energy, and a true collaborative attitude would lead to a hard-won opportunity and would pay off with a long-simmering feud with The Undertaker. Dozens of matches spread across the nation and around the world found both wrestlers pushing each other to greater and greater limits over a 4-year period, culminating on the night of June 28, 1998, with the ultimately defeated Mankind standing above and then below the cage in a kind of twisted, ignominious victory. Despite the inevitable pinfall loss, and after one more death-defying trip to the top of the cage and a subsequent run-in with several thousand thumbtacks, Mick Foley got over for life. Hazy recollections from his second trip up and through the Hell in a Cell structure emerge from Mick's memories of that night. Terry Funk checking on him before getting chokeslammed out of his shoes by The Undertaker, the death of Pat Patterson's significant other on the same day, and Mick Foley's obviously concussed condolences, meeting Stephanie McMahon for the first time with a nasally misplaced tooth, and Vince McMahon's hard-earned respect. Finally earned. Even a call for the Spanish announce table to get its due with an induction into the WWE Hall of Fame finds its way into Mick's tale of Steel City destruction. With the first hour and 15 minutes concentrating on the factors, fortune, and fate that culminated on that groundbreaking and earth-shaking June night 20 years ago, a near 45-minute question and answer session follows the show. Opening the door to a wide range of questions from the fans in attendance, Jeremy Borash journeyed into the sellout crowd at Mr. Small's Theater. A number of fans were given the opportunity to ask questions of the hardcore legend, with an emphasis on the Hell in a Cell 20th anniversary, but additional topics were brought up, however, including the Rock and Sock connection, the glorious chaos of Paul Heyman's ECW, his current health, a certain rivalry with Terry Funk in Japan, and a number of other enlightening and informative tidbits. Promising a return for the 20th anniversary of his #1 New York Times best-selling autobiography, Have a Nice Day, A Tale of Blood and Sweat Socks, the glorious rock discord of Wreck lurches from the speakers as the man, the myth, the hardcore legend Mick Foley makes his exit. An engrossing night that digs into the mythology and pathology behind one brutal match on a summer night in June of 1998. Mick Foley's own opinion of this iconic Hell in a Cell match has undergone a transformation over the years. Far from the crushing shadow he once considered it, 1998's King of the Ring pay-per-view provided an opportunity for Mick Foley and The Undertaker to transcend their sport. With a slow-burning wildfire of a match, better resembling an epic movie showdown between two titanic monsters, this Hell in a Cell showdown was guaranteed to end in utter destruction. With his ruthless showcase as its centerpiece, Mick Foley's tale is ultimately an uplifting tale of perseverance, wrought through dogged determination to continually expand the boundaries of his craft while simultaneously uplifting his peers with a true collaborative discourse between the ropes. Returning to the stage one more time, Jeremy Borash lets the crowd know to keep their eyes peeled for September 16th as the Mick Foley 20 Years of Hell special is expected to air on the WWE Network following this year's Hell in a Cell pay-per-view.